Producing and consuming threat intelligence can be a real pain. Many large threat intelligence providers have their own data models, each often storing the same data but in different structures, requiring some middleware, typically a threat intelligence platform, to normalize it. STIC's representation of threat intelligence has solved this problem by creating a single standard for threat intelligence. TAXII is doing the same thing, but for the consumption and distribution of these STICS objects. Here at DogeSec, we use ArangoDB to store our STICS data. So to make life easier on our consumers and ourselves, we built Arango TAXII Server, a fully implemented TAXII API on top of ArangoDB. If you're an intelligence producer, Arango TAXII Server makes it painless to store and distribute your intelligence, allowing you to spend more time on research. Let me show you how. The TAXII specification outlines that all requests to the API should use basic auth. Arango TAXII Server hooks into Arango users and respects their permissions to databases and collections when authenticating. Here, I can authenticate with a user I've assigned read-only permissions to one Arango database. When I make the request, you can see that database, or API route in TAXII terminology, called Arango TAXII Server Tests Database. Now I know what API routes are available to this user. Let's see what collections are inside of it. You can see here we have 3 collections: MITRE-ATT&CK ICS, Mobile, and Enterprise. Each collection in the response contains information about the collection, including can read and can write permissions. The ability to write to a collection is set on a per user basis using native Arango user permissions. In this case, the user can only read the collection and the data within it, but they cannot write to it. Now, let's see what objects are in the MITRE-ATT&CK ICS collection. Here, the response is paginated and shows the earliest object by time added to the server first. Arango TAXII Server fully implements the TAXII specification, providing all the defined URL parameters to filter and segment the data. By default, TAXII will only show the latest version of an object in a response, but you can use the object versions endpoint to see what other versions of an object exist, should you want to retrieve the older versions using the version filter parameter. This video is only a short introduction to the full Arango TAXII Server capabilities. Give it a try today. The software only takes a few minutes to deploy and start using. I'll put a link to Arango TAXII Server in the description of this video.